discover that a car has been part exchanged for a reason, and we discover that reason hasn't been disclosed. It's just like, oh, if you're worried about this stuff, don't message me about it, because it's got a Nissan back from MOT. It actually passed MOT, or would have passed MOT on the tyres it had. I thought it would need tyres, but they know the score with me, and I told them before I wasn't happy with the tyres. So it's actually had new tyres all round, brand new tyres all round. So obviously we haven't gone like Michelin or anything like that. I don't see the person driving this being someone who's going to drive the door handles off it, but they will have a fresh service, brand new tyres all round, and a brand new advisory free MOT. Yeah, like I say, the tyres would have passed, but in my mind, they looked a bit old, a bit cracked on the side walls, and they were getting very close to being needed to be changed. So it just is another thing, along with having done the wing, having wet cleaned the interior on it, there's really not a reason why someone could say they weren't going to buy this car. If they're going to look at Nissan notes, I doubt they're going to see many on this age that have been sort of prepped and future-proof to this level. So we are in the Daihatsu Terios that we got, driving it home, seeing what we think of it. Initial signs are engine's sweet enough, goes through the gears nicely, drives nicely. The only problem you got is when you get up into fifth, you got what sounds like a little bit of a whine from the transmission. The clutch is pretty high as well, I will say that. So I think I'm right not to be retailing this. I think it needs to go out the door cheaply enough for someone to be able to do some fixes. The transmission doesn't make any noise like now, it doesn't make any noise in the lower gears, so it's only in fifth. So it needs to go out cheaply enough that if someone wants to do those repairs, it's worth doing, or drive it into the ground, which would be my preferred. I have to say, it could well be that it could do with a fluid change. I imagine it probably hasn't been done. They don't tend to get done, and that has been known to help things in the past, but as it's specifically in fifth gear, makes you wonder if there isn't a bad component in the gearbox, or a worn, I would say bad, a worn component in the gearbox. Let's say no noises now at all in fourth. It's only when you get up to fifth, you can probably just hear it there. Yeah, personally, my opinion would be drive into the ground job. Probably change the fluid out just to see if it made any difference, and then drive it into the ground. So once again, we discover that a car has been part exchanged for a reason, and we discover that reason hasn't been disclosed when the car was part exchanged. So, which is part of the course. We know that's the way it goes. Dealers are fair game. When they part exchange cars, it's keep your mouth shut, hope they don't notice, and then screw them down for as much money as you can for the part X. Because I know on this one, for example, the person that part exchanged it didn't accept the first offer, wanted to get more money for it, and that was just based on the bodywork. The dealer was trying to get the price down just based on how bad the bodywork was. It wasn't even that he knew there was a mechanical issue with it, and that person still wasn't having any of it and wanted more money. I think they clearly knew it had this issue. I don't see how you could not know it had this issue. But again, I think I got it cheap enough to get out of it, and I bought it along with the iGo, and it's about, like I say, making myself the easiest person to sell with, because I will buy everything and I will find a home for everything, and you know, touch wood, I won't very often lose on it either. So I mean, it's still got some value in it, this car. It's still totally usable as it is, and that's the point to prove when I drive them home and back all the time. I imagine this being a little Toyota engine will get you where you need to get, no problems at all. I do love how other people think Toyotas are indestructible, though. You know, Toyotas, they're just the same as anything else. I know this is a Daihatsu, but it's obviously Toyota running gear. Four-wheel drive on a 1.3 probably isn't the best idea in the world, but my Fiat Panda 1.2 did 180,000 miles, so 100,000 miles more than this, and didn't have any transmission problems. So Toyota is by no means a guarantee to reliability, and from what I hear, haven't seen it yet, this one's got a really good service history as well. So it isn't that it's been not cared for.
More flipping bangers at Chop's Garage YouTube channel.
I'm going to show you this car after I've done this, because I haven't done a video on how it came in yet. I got too overexcited this morning, jumped straight on it. I was going to do nothing to this car. I was going to throw a bucket over and trade it out. But I had a look around it and I thought, well, the problems with it aren't massive. Although, like I say, the MOT history isn't great on it and it is going to need some welding next MOT. The bones of it are good. I mean, the interior is so clean and tidy on it. So mint. Sorry, I'm using my phone. So I thought, oh, I'll just spend half an hour on it, and typical me, I've gone far too far with it. So the front bumper was gouged right the way through here. Really, all the plastics were really gouged. You see that sticking out a little bit. Really gouged. So I sanded it down, used filler, a plastic filler, and then sanded it down again. And then I used high build primer on it. After putting plastic primer on, otherwise the high build won't take so well. Then I used satin black, because if you look here where I haven't done the repair, it's black underneath the grey, and the grey I had was a little bit light, so I knew if I put the black behind it, the grey would darken up a little bit. So I thought I was only going to do that, but then I noticed that the mirror caps were faded, so I scuffed them up and threw some lacquer on them, although this one's got some orange peel in it because the lacquer I used was old lacquer. It was just a 1k can kicking around. This one's better, so I may refinish that one. But these were almost white. They were completely faded out, so I used the scuff pad on them, and by sanding them with the scuff pad I went down to the next layer, then re-lacquered them, so that looks a lot better. The bodywork was a bit faded, so I just ran over it with a cloth and some red T-cut, so that came up well. Cleaned the glass. So yeah, apologies, I just got straight into it this morning. I was supposed to be getting onto the Astra. Well, actually I was supposed to service the Hyundai i10 first, then get onto the Astra, and I was supposed to, like say, trade this out as it was. But this is the stuff I love doing, and which is why it's so stupid I didn't record it. I don't know why. I mean, this interests me far more than picking up a 2015-16 car. So little Terios got me home and back fine yesterday, and to the gym and back. No problems at all. I mean, other than the fact, like I say, it's got that slight whine in 5th gear. In terms of actual drivability, absolutely fine. Goes into all the gears, absolutely fine. Pulls quite well for a little engine, for a little 1.5. Pulls quite well. Yeah, no knocks or bangs or anything like that. Nice little drive. I've now listed it up for sale. I've actually put it up for $19.95 now I've done the work on it. Auto Trader book for this is $3,600. So at $19.95 that leaves someone an awful lot of room to get the box done if they wanted. I would be tempted just to drive as is. I've got room to come down if I need, but I think that's representing good value for money for something you can hop in. It's got an MOT till February. You can hop in and drive about it. I say the 5th gear whine's not really that noticeable, especially if you've got the stereo on. But you know, it's not really that loud. So yeah, nice little runabout. This morning I've cracked on, and I wanted, like I said, the 2 cars I have got up for sale. Well, I've got 3 up for sale, and I've got the ASX as well, which doesn't seem to be generating any real interest at all. But I know well, not everyone's quiet, but I know some people have had a good one, but locally people seem quiet. A lot of the dealers' forecourts are full up. But then again, like I say, all I've had is the ASX for sale for the last few weeks. So these have just been listed, and I thought, you know, realistic, I wanted to go straight out the door. So I've serviced that one, and I've serviced that one this morning. Obviously, i10, my absolute favourite car to service, is so quick to service. That means both these cars are 100% ready to go out the door if someone comes and wants to take them away straight away. Both priced, I think that's great price, and that's good price on Auto Trader. So, but I tend to find end of month is busiest for me. End and the beginning of the month. I find the middle of the month really quite quiet as a general rule. I don't know if it's a payday thing or not. Hopefully I'll get the DS3 back soon, and that water pump will have solved the problems with that, and then we can get that up for sale. And I've obviously got a couple of cars coming in as well, so I haven't really got anything choice-wise at the moment. You know, yeah, what have you got, Mr. Dealer? I've got 3 cars up for sale, and I've only just got to the point of owning 3 cars up for sale, so I don't have much choice-wise. Next thing up is finally the Astra. Oh, and this pile here is tyres for the MGB. As I said, I'm going to put it down for an MOT. I didn't like the look of the tyres on it, and I've been wanting to try for a while going to 165s on it rather than the 185s. Going for the classic design with the rounded edges on, because apparently they handle a lot better with the 185s with the square edge. When you're turning in, there's a lot of rub. So I'm going to be interested. I got new inner tubes as well because I didn't know how good the old inner tubes were. We'll get it down for an MOT and we'll see what Phil thinks of it, structurally wise. Of course, it doesn't actually need an MOT, but obviously for safety of other road users, I don't know what's going on underneath it. I haven't got it up on a ramp, so best get a new ticket on it. Oh, Facebook never fails to disappoint with cheap cars, does it? So I've listed the Terios, and I've put, you know, that it's great condition, immaculate interior, said it's got proper four-wheel drive as 1.5, listed what parts it's got, and up at the vehicle's part exchange, it's been sold spares or repaired due to a slight whine in 5th gear, and advisories on the last MOT for rust component mounting area is corroded but not considered excessive, which is the same one for all 4, so I just thought just post the one because that's pretty much, you know, same all round anyway. That said, it has an MOT till February 2023. I've used it to commute back and forth now to work with no issues. Auto Trader has a value of 3,760. So that's been more than reflected in price, so no daft offers, please. So the message I've had so far is a lady who's a dog walker who wants to know how much space there is in the boot, wants to part exchange her car and have the rest of the balance on a weekly payment plan. What about this advert makes you think any of those things are possible? The other message I've had was from a lady asking where I was and did it have any MOT. MOT until February 23, and there's the address. So she then comes back to me after I've said that information is in the advert, but I provided it again anyway because I'm soft. She then said, oh, I'm not really interested because it won't go into 5th gear. I said, no, it doesn't say it won't go into 5th gear. It says there's a whine in 5th gear. It goes into the gears fine. So she then messaged back and says, can you tell me where the corrosion is? So I said, we'll go to the MOT site and put the reg in and you'll get the answers to that. It's just, this is why dealers have problems selling cars, because even when you're like me and you're 100% honest and you list everything in black and white, you still get people coming along who can't even just read an advert. They can't even just read an advert, and they want, you know, it says it's been sold spares or repairs, and you want guarantees on what the things are that are wrong with it, and it's just like, or if you're worried about this stuff, don't message me about it because it's all in the advert. Don't message me about the car if you're worried about things like that. You buy this car because you know it's got a couple of issues, but you think, I'll drive it into the ground. Or you think, I'm a bit handy with a welder. If it is a problem next MOT, I'll do a bit of welding on it. Or I'll swap the transmission out or whatever. Or, I mean, I would, again, just drive the car as it is. But even when you do everything by the book, you still deal with the part. You can guarantee that either of those people that purchased that car, that then later on there was an issue with it, would still be back on my doorstep. Guaranteed, absolutely guaranteed.